welcome back to another episode of Talking Toku, Boston and Bellingham's only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and all their kaiju friends. I am your host, David Scrivani.
I'm Brian.
And today we're going to be celebrating the 50th anniversary of Godzilla vs. Gigan, one of my favorite films in the franchise. I think it's one of yours.
Yeah,
as of recording, it turned 50 just 2 days ago, I think. What's today's date?
Today's 14.
14. So it was 2 days ago that the movie turned 50, which is the
I
entire...
watched it on that exact day.
So did I. How about that?
Wow.
So
Who would have thunk?
Yeah, it was almost like we were watching it together, even though you were probably watching it 3 hours after I did or something.
It's on like we specifically planned to watch it on the day it was released 50 years ago.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about that. I know on the last episode I said I was going to watch the dub, but I didn't do that. I don't know. You may have.
Hey, me too. I didn't.
You didn't either?
I
Okay,
didn't.
cool. So I mean, we'll talk a little bit about the dub because it is a fun dub.
Because you want to know why?
Why?
Because on that day, which was Saturday, right?
Saturday, yep.
Saturday, I also saw the Batman. So I basically saw the Batman.
Movie.
I saw the Batman at 2 p.m. PST. I went home at 5:20 PST, and then I was like, all right, time to watch Godzilla vs. Gigan. So then I watched that. And when it was all said and done, I had watched about 5 hours of movie.
Very
and
nice.
I was ready to be done watching movie
For
like the whole weekend. Or like the whole weekend, and then it was Monday, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
You know, that's more than I would have done. I try to limit myself. Jesus Christ, I try to limit myself to watching just one movie a day. I can't. I don't think I have the attention span to do more than one movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was a special day. I got out of the Batman. It was pouring.
So
I was like, all right,
it was a nice 4D experience for you then.
It was a nice 4D experience, but that's not really a coincidence being where I live.
That's true, yeah.
I live in a very wet place.
But,
much like Gotham City.
Exactly. But you don't live under sea level.
That's true. I mean, some of Bellingham's under sea.
Some of it is, though, but not the entire fucking city.
No, yeah, you're right.
So
the city planners didn't decide to pull the funniest practical joke ever.
Yeah. I mean, hey, the whole Court of Owls is like that thing's like they're like deep in the history of Gotham or something. I don't know. It's been years since I read the Court of Owls storyline, but I know they want to do the Court of Owls for a sequel to the Batman. So maybe we'll find out why Gotham was so poorly built.
They're like the Illuminati.
Exactly. All right, but this isn't a podcast about the Batman. It's a podcast about Godzilla and other kaiju. So let's get into the news real quick. We're actually kind of short on news this week. We only have 3 things to report, as far as I know. I didn't double check before coming in. I usually do, but I didn't do that this time. So this first thing, this is a big one. We mentioned it briefly on the last episode, but Indianapolis Convention Days of the Dead has been organizing a strictly kaiju-themed convention called All Monsters Attack, and we have the first bunch of guests announced. So let's go down the list, because it's quite a list. First up, we have Godzilla and King Kong Escape star and tokusatsu legend Akira Takarada. It's great to see he's feeling up to a convention again, and what a convention to mark his return to conventions after his health scare earlier this year. Next, Ultraman suit actor and Ultra 7 actor Bin Furuya will be there, who's also a very nice man. I've met him once before, I think just once. Millennium Godzilla suit actor Tsutomu Kitagawa, who I've met multiple times. He's a phenomenal human being, one of the nicest guys I've ever met at any convention, that's for sure. And finally, Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah Giant Monsters All-Out Attack suit actor, as well as Gamera the Brave suit actor, Mizuho Yoshida. This is huge. This is just the first announcement of guests. There are more guests to be announced, and this is just the first round. Like I've heard rumblings of Godzilla versus King Ghidorah and Godzilla versus Mothra suit actor Hurricane Ryu Hariken will also be making an appearance. Nothing confirmed yet, but that's just the room. That's just in the rumor mill.
I think we should go to this.
I think we should too. It's in Indianapolis. I've never been to Indiana, but hey, you know, why not? You know,
we'll be meeting each other halfway practically.
Yeah, I've already looked at flights. I have not seen a single flight under $300, over $300. Sorry. So that's
round trip.
Round trip, yeah.
All right.
So it's feasible for sure. I really want to go. I don't want to pay for a whole hotel room by myself. That's why I never go to cons by myself.
I'll go halvesies with you. It's not like I work full time or anything.
Yeah. So we might be doing that. Oh my God, Brian. We should figure out a way to like record a podcast episode at this convention.
Okay. So in the hotel room?
Yeah. And we can just get random people to come in and chill and just talk about the convention with us.
Here's what we should do though.
Yeah.
We should get custom t-shirts, just you and me.
Toku t-shirts?
Of the Talking Toku t-shirts of the art that we have.
Yeah. I've been wanting to do that for a while, honestly. Like
yeah, and then we'll be the Talking Toku crew, and then everyone will be like, "Who are you?"
You think we can get in touch with the organizers and get our own panel?
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? If someone, listen, people just want to make their jobs easier at the end of the day, so people will just resort to being like, "Yeah, sure, you send official."
Yeah,
yeah. I think it's worth it.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But we should definitely get those t-shirts.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I've been wanting to do the t-shirts for a while. But anyways, this may prove to be the G-Fest killer that many fans fed up with that convention have been looking for.
Good.
Myself included. I don't know who else will be announced for guests, but I would love to see Kenpachiro Satsuma, who is the Heisei Godzilla suit actor, or maybe a couple of more Ultraman guests to kind of balance things out between Godzilla and Ultraman. I know.
Hey, even if this is like the biggest of the lineup, this is still pretty fucking rad.
I know. But I mean, Hurricane Ryu is also pretty big too. Like he played King Ghidorah in Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. What is his name? I'm gonna have to Google it because I know at one recent convention out in California, I want to say, the suit actor for Ultraman Jack, Eiichi Kikuchi, just made his, I want to say, first appearance at a convention in the States. So that would be cool to see him too. But I would love to see not necessarily suit actors, but like actors from the show itself, like the human characters. Like I would love to meet, Jiro Dan or any of the other Ultra hosts as the host actors, as it were. They all seem like cool people, I think.
I think most people who work in this industry are pretty cool people.
Very true. Very true.
For the most part.
Yeah. But
we've mentioned some not so great people, but
we have.
Yeah.
But
some of those we've talked about on this very show.
We have. But yeah, anyways, All Monsters Attack is going to be happening in Indianapolis. Let me just double check exactly where.
If you say April, I'm going to throw a fucking
It's not in April. It's in September.
Okay.
September's
better because like April is so busy for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know exactly when. I just don't know where. Where is it? Does it say where?
Oh wow! I have to. Oops.
What?
I have to buy my plane tickets for PAX. I forgot.
Oh, so it's going to be at the Indianapolis Marriott, and it'll be occurring September 9th through September 11th. So, any West Coast fans of the show, you might run into us. Maybe. Wait, West Coast? No, Indianapolis. the fuck am I talking about? I'm all over the
gonna
place.
say,
I'm all over the place today,
were you
man.
thinking of California?
I was, because I mentioned that convention that Eiichiro Kikuchi was at. Still, no. Okay. Any Midwest fans of the show?
Wow.
We'll see you there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You'll at least recognize us with our T-shirts.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's that for All Monsters Attack. I'm sure any more guest announcements, we will be sure to mention them because there's a good chance we'll be there.
Good chance, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will cover the next story.
Go for it. I only
well,
did that,
no-
I did that first one because that was a lot of Japanese names. I didn't want to have you to worry about it.
Oh, I thought you just did it out of the kindness of your heart.
Well, I did because I knew you wouldn't be able to pronounce all those names.
Right. Okay. While no official announcement has been made, Stephen Biro of Unearthed Films has announced on the Perfect Turd podcast an upcoming Blu-ray release of the original R-rated cut of The Guyver, the 1991 American adaptation of the hit manga, which stars none other than Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill. Neither of us have seen the film, and I don't think we were even aware a different cut of the film even existed. It'll be interesting to see this regardless, and it's cool that the R-rated cut is finally becoming available. This is all new information to me. That's wild.
Yeah, Brian, I typed these out to make it seem like we kind of know what we're talking about, and then you go ahead and confirm that you don't know what you're talking about.
You wrote this to make me seem like a fucking moron.
I wrote this to make it sound like you knew what you were talking about, and you're failing me in that, Brian.
You're right, because it's funny, and that's what being funny is what makes people listen to us.
Everyone will know we're not cool and knowledgeable about tokusatsu, Brian.
Hey, listen, if there's one thing that I'm good at, it's self-deprecating myself.
Fair enough, I'll give you that. But yeah,
hey, and you know what? It's not about having a garbage, ridiculously huge encyclopedic knowledge of everything tokusatsu and kaiju related. It's about your passion.
Yeah, August.
Even if you can't remember basic information, at least you give a shit, and I do give a shit, even though I'm a big dum-dum.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of the Guyver here and there, and it looks really, really cool. I love all the design aesthetic of everything, and yeah, I've never seen it, but I would love to, and it's cool that this is getting a Blu-ray release.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, so one last small tidbit. Waxwork Records are continuing their kaiju collection of vinyl releases with an excellent radioactive green Element X pressing of Akira Ifukube's score to King Kong Escapes. Between this and Mondo's release of the Space Amoeba score, I have my work cut out for me. Not on spending money, but I guess that too. But on buying scores to movies I have not seen. But I'll talk about that in a later segment. We'll see. Shh.
You're really, really like an expert at blowing your money.
I spent so much money this week, Brian. It was not funny.
It's kind of like, it's entertaining and also kind of like, not sad. It's more just like impressive.
Let me see if I can give you a rundown of all the dumb shit I bought this week was. So I bought Mondo's release for the Batman score. I bought Waxworks.
You told me about
that. King Kong Escapes score. I bought the Super 7 Shogun Warriors and Marusan J-Tail Godzilla. I want to say there was something else. I can't remember off the top of my head. There was definitely one other thing that I bought.
Personal experience, there's definitely one other thing.
There's definitely one other thing. I don't remember what it was, but there was definitely one other thing.
What matters is the stuff that you don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's gonna bug me. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna give a quick a quick check through my email to see if
This just highlights how different you and I are when it comes to like merchandise. Like the
I
other day,
know.
I was like looking at like a t-shirt that I wanted. I was gonna get like the like a Jet Jaguar shirt from Godzilla Singular Point. I was like, I really want that, and then I saw it was $28. So I was like, maybe some other time. But I know that if I was you, I'd be like, yes, right now.
Okay,
I
maybe
am probably gonna get that shirt though.
maybe there wasn't something this week. Maybe it was last week. I think I'm thinking of last week. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking of last week. Because I bought that super cool limited run games thing for Dawn of the Monsters.
Right. You told me you were gonna do that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it for what I bought. I'll keep.
Oh, actually, speaking of the not specifically Dawn of the Monsters, but the other game we talked about on the last episode, Gigabash, that actually was featured on the State of Play for PlayStation.
I saw that, and they revealed a new character that was I think they said basically, yes, this is our Godzilla stand-in for the game.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. A bunch of people we kept saying L on it though, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? This looks great."
The fuck up. That's all I gotta say on that topic.
The people who tune into the State of Play live streams are like cringe.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I'm remembering now that on my other show, Doritos Connections and Mountain Dew, we mentioned that there was a State of Play happening, and I made fun of it because I heard it was supposed to be all Japanese games. So I'm like, it's probably all anime bullshit. And now I feel bad because Gigabash was shown off.
And they also showed off more of Ghostwire Tokyo, which I wasn't expecting.
They showed a lot of that off recently, I feel. Like a lot.
Coming out soon.
Yeah, true. I hope that game's good. So, I want it.
Yeah. I have not seen a whole lot of marketing for it at all, so.
I don't know. I downloaded that visual novel prequel that was free, though, so.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I haven't played it yet, though.
I was gonna check that out, but I haven't.
Oh, if I get around to playing it, I'll let you know how it is.
I've been basically glued to Elden Ring, so
that's understandable. Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed since last recording.
Yep. But that's about it for the news this week. So, do we want to start talking about this excellent fucking movie we have here?
Yeah. Godzilla talks in this movie.
He does. Also, I realized ever since we came back for 2022, we haven't had a single r/Godzilla segment. So I was wondering, should we abandon that segment? Because like it's not that I haven't been looking for posts. It's just that there hasn't been anything like that egregious that needs to be called out. You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Like, so I peruse the r/Godzilla subreddit quite often. I just haven't seen anything that's really warranted it. I don't know what it was last year. People were just going off the rails.
Maybe we've just become nicer people in the 2 months.
No. No.
Okay.
Nope. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say we should put it on hiatus.
Okay.
Because I like the segment, but I love just playing t-ball, but yeah, I don't know, there just hasn't been anything really worth worth going after, so I think everyone's a little bit too preoccupied worrying about maybe not being here tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean that's a understandable thing to worry about.
Yeah, fuck Putin, piece of shit.
All right, well, r/Godzilla, for now, you're okay in our books. Congratulations.
You're safe. If we find something though.
Oh yeah. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. We'll put you on blast once more.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. Let's finally talk about this half a century old film, which is fucking wild, man.
Yeah, it is pretty wild.
This is. I mean, we're coming up on the entire Showa series being 50 years old now, because there are just.
I was gonna say it's gonna be like every year it's gonna be a 50th anniversary of something.
Next year we'll have Megalon, then Mechagodzilla, and then Terror of Mechagodzilla, and then the entire Showa series will be over 50 years old, which is just wild to think about.
Yeah.
And rest assured, we'll do episodes for all those.
I'm very much looking forward to watching Terror of Mechagodzilla again.
Well, you gotta wait 3 years, Brian.
That's okay. I mean, I'll probably watch it again anyways.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway,
I'm looking forward to covering it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
In 3 years.
So let's start on this one though, Godzilla versus Gigan, which is definitely one of my favorites in the whole franchise, I think.
Yeah, I actually, gonna be honest with you, I didn't really have an opinion of it because I mean, I did, but the last time I watched it before this time was actually when you, me, and like all your friends were doing the fucking Godzilla marathon thing.
Wow, that was a lot. That was back when we were in high school.
Yeah, that was a long
God.
time ago. So that was the last time I actually watched this movie.
You want to know when the last time I watched it was?
When?
Because it's kind of funny. The last time I watched it was last year, while the election was happening, and I wanted to put something on that would distract me from the pure anxiety I was feeling all day.
Based guy again.
So I'm watching 70s Godzilla to calm myself down, and no one can stop me.
Well, I mean, honestly, you made a good choice because this movie's pretty lighthearted. I love this.
It
movie.
is. Yeah, it's so good. Like
I am firmly in the church of Godzilla versus Gigan now.
As
I
you
had a
should
lot
be.
of fun watching it.
Yeah, I mean Godzilla. So 70s Godzilla, I think, is peak Showa. Like obviously, Mothra versus Godzilla and Invasion of Astro Monster are like among the franchise's best. But like 70s Godzilla, especially like just 70s Godzilla in general. 70s Godzilla in general just feels like where it peaked for like enjoyability, for like accessibility. Like it has something for everyone, you know? Like you have in this movie especially, like you have the peak of the superhero Godzilla for like the at the time the intended audience was all kids. Kids were the ones seeing the movies, so this was like the peak of superhero Godzilla. But this is also a movie where Godzilla bleeds quite a bit. Gigan really fucks him up.
He gets stabbed in the brain.
Yeah. And Gearus bleeds quite a bit too. I have the trivia up here on Wikizilla, and one of the things is this is the second time Anguirus visibly bleeds in a film. The first is in Godzilla Raids Again, when Godzilla bites down on Anguirus' throat. The third instance of Anguirus bleeding occurs in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, when fake Godzilla breaks Anguirus' jaw. So there's a fun fact for you.
That was actually one thing I was gonna mention is that poor Anguirus gets the shit beat out of him.
He really does. And he does not deserve it.
He gets shafted every movie.
Like, because like the whole thing, you know, they play the tape, and Godzilla is like, "Hey, what the fuck? Some weird shit's going on." So he sends Anguirus to Japan to go check things out, and immediately the JSDF is just like, "Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!" And they're just beating him to hell, and he just leaves without doing anything. He just shows up.
He just stood there. He just stood there on the beach. He's just getting lit up. He's like, all right,
he was
fine.
Trying to help, and he was just absolutely punished for it. It's like Anguirus did absolutely nothing wrong in this film.
Yeah, no, he was being used by Godzilla.
Yeah, but so
a real abusive relationship.
I think we definitely got to talk about that scene where Godzilla talks, because I think that's definitely the most infamous scene in the film, but it's only more infamous in the dub, because in the Japanese version it's just weird sounds.
Yeah, it sounds like Godzilla's regular roar, but like if you like mixed it around.
Yeah, it's like weird and reversed and stuff, and it sounds like a vinyl like being scratched. But in the dub they actually recorded dialogue for them, and it's really funny because just the voices they use for. I'm not going to try to attempt to do it, to replicate it. I could, but I don't really want to. But it's the kind of thing I could hear someone like Fred Tatasciore do nowadays. Like if they dubbed this movie now, they would probably get Fred Tatasciore to do it, because that's the kind of voice both Godzilla and Anguirus speak in. And just the dialogue itself is really funny. Like,
yeah,
Godzilla,
even reading it was a little jarring.
Yeah, like Godzilla calls Anguirus over, and Anguirus literally goes, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
The Godzilla goes, "Something funny's going on. You better check." It's just really oddly written dialogue. It feels almost out of character for Godzilla, which is weird to say. But
you see, my favorite part was when they were swimming to go to Japan, and then Godzilla's basically telling Anguirus to move its ass and go faster. And Anguirus couldn't do anything except just say okay.
Yeah. That's most of Anguirus' dialogue in this is just okay.
And then I just remembered that Anguirus got shot like a billion times, like an hour ago.
He probably doesn't even want to go fast. He's not in a hurry to get his ass kicked again.
He's like, I don't want to get shot at again.
And I'll mention also that the guy who did the voice for Godzilla is Ted Thomas, who also provided the voice in the dub for Kubota, one of the villains in the film. Which I think personally, these guys are the most fun aliens in the Godzilla, at least in the Showa series. I think. Actually,
yeah, I didn't remember that they were cockroaches.
Oh, I know. I love that's why they're so cool, because they're just literally just cockroaches using in a human hologram.
Dude, that scene where like they saw where you could see the projection and then the shadow, that made the hair on my arms stand up. Like, ugh.
It's spooky. Like I could imagine being a kid and being like, ugh, I don't like that at all.
That is pure nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
If you were young enough, perhaps childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm. And I'll mention also the Godzilla Rivals comic that we talked about last week, where Gigan is canonically a gamer. One of the cover artists, Christian Gonzalez, who we've talked about on the show before, he did a really great cover, a retail incentive cover for the comic that references, I want to say, volume 11 of Berserk. Not that that's important, but apparently he was the one who he got to canonically redesign the Nebulans. And Brian, have you seen Mimic from Guillermo del Toro?
I have seen Mimic.
Okay.
It's the bug people.
Yeah, the big cockroach. So basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So basically,
how did I forget about that movie?
It's one of Del Toro's more forgettable films because it really just feels like a sci-fi original.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that's the one film of his.
Oh my god,
that he doesn't really like.
There's sequels.
Oh, I did not know about. They're probably all direct to DVD, I'm sure.
No.
What? Oh, no. I don't believe this.
This is Mimic 2 and 3.
All right. Well, I looked this up. I'm going to keep talking. Anyways, Gonzalez, when he redesigned the Nebulans, he kind of made them similar to how the cockroaches of Mimic are. They're just giant cockroaches, but they can disguise themselves as humans just using their own biology. It's really, really cool.
That's so gross.
Ryan, it literally says 2 direct-to-video sequels were made for Mimic.
Okay.
I don't know where you saw that.
I don't know.
But yeah,
I think I misread something.
They're direct-to-DVD. They don't count.
Whatever.
But yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I really like these aliens. They're cool. And honestly, a big part of that is the performances. The characters themselves, they're just entertaining. They're really they're kind of comically evil, which is which is a phrase I keep finding myself using, because I guess a lot of the things I've been watching recently have just had really comically evil villains.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in this movie, having them be layered and empathetic would be just kind of
Yeah, but in this, they're just peace. We want peace and nothing else. Peace through order. and stuff like that, and it's just very entertaining.
Yeah.
Speaking
They're
of
like,
the
we're gonna use these
characters,
two monsters to destroy everything,
yeah,
and that's peace.
yeah, exactly, because there's nothing could go wrong there.
Nope.
Sp-
Nothing has historically gone wrong in the future, or
exactly
in the
in the
past.
past, yeah. But I want to, while we're on the topic of the characters, I really wanted to talk about this because like these are not the best characters of the Godzilla franchise by any means, but they are some of the most entertaining to watch.
I would say I really fucking like them. I like the group dynamic.
Oh no, yeah. I'm not saying they're bad characters. Like they're fun, but they they don't have a lot of depth to them. But I will say,
Yeah.
and this is kind of the first time I really noticed this because this is I haven't like really sat down to watch this movie and like kind of analyzed it as it were. Gengo is an incredible character because he's so bumbling of a main character. It's a wonder he is the main character of the film.
I just love the lady who could do like karate and beats the shit
yeah,
out of people.
Tomoko, his girlfriend. But no, like
I
Gengo.
thought, hold on. I actually wanted to mention one thing. The scene where he like, I don't remember exactly what he called her, but he called her like an insult, and then he like drew it later, and then she's like, "This is what I am."
Yeah. So in the dub, I mentioned this last week. In the dub of the film, he calls her a hard bitch. In that.
Oh
scene.
no.
Yeah. It's a pretty iconic line from the dub.
I mean, depending on your interpretation of the phrase hard bitch, it's either a good or a bad thing.
I'm pretty sure he meant it as a bad thing. But no, like when I mean bumbling, I'm talking about like, when he's going to see the chairman, Fumio, to show off his designs, and he bumps into Machiko, and she drops the tape, and Kubota comes out, and he goes like, "Oh, where did she go? The girl." He starts to point in the direction that she went, but immediately changes her mind and switches over to point in an opposite direction. I'm like, dude, like that's not very subtle, but okay. And then when he walks in to see the chairman, he's in the waiting room. He notices the camera following him around, and he's like trying to hide from the camera just for shits and giggles, I guess.
He's just like fucking around in that room, and then he slipped on that stupid globe.
Yeah, and then the phone rings, and the chairman's like, "What the hell are you doing? Get in here!" And the way he answers the phone, like his voice cracks.
Yeah,
and it's really so funny.
Good. I honestly enjoyed watching. I think I enjoyed watching like the characters just doing their thing more than like. I mean, like I like the ending fight and shit.
Yeah.
But like I liked watching these people just be fucking goofballs.
Yeah,
like there were no stakes in this movie.
No.
At all.
And like later on when they're trying to rescue Shima from Godzilla Tower, they're going up the steps because they can't use the elevator because that would give away their position. And like
Gengo's just tired.
Gengo's like out of breath, almost about to pass out, and Tomoko's like, "What are you doing? We gotta go." And he's like, I'm dying."
It's like you trying to walk upstairs, Dave.
Well, it really is, honestly. I have no shame in that.
You are Gengo in real life.
I really am. I don't smoke, though.
You should go as him for Halloween.
I mean, that wouldn't be a difficult costume.
No, not really. All you gotta do is like wear. I don't know. Actually, remember what he wore.
He's like, let me see.
He's like business casual.
Yeah, he's got like a tan coat. It's really not. I kind of have the hair for it, honestly. Now I'm looking at a picture from him. I do kind of have the hair.
You're gonna have to shave the beard though.
I know I will. That's okay. Oh well. Moving on. I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was gonna say after that, but well.
I don't know. Godzilla Tower. Holy shit!
I fucking love that thing so much. It's such a
cool
look.
Thing. I love Godzilla's reaction to seeing it.
Yeah, he's so confused, and I almost wonder if like this was like a precursor to Mechagodzilla that we would get 2 years later.
I could see it.
Yeah, because like we're almost there, but not quite. You know.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see it as being like a precursor. Um, I just love like it's just the goofy nature of the tower. There's no reason why they needed to build a Godzilla tower, but they just did it.
No, and like I understand it's like their cover is that it's for a kids theme park, but like
What a horrifying idea! Like, what a horrifying concept of a theme park.
I mean, I guess, but like at the same time, again, this is like at the point where Godzilla is a superhero, so like
I know, but even
kids
if he's a superhero, he's also still like a fucking huge monster.
But like I mean, you had in Godzilla versus Hedorah, like people are literally watching them fight from like a couple miles away, and they're just like, yeah,
That's
Godzilla
true.
kick his ass. You know,
That's true.
they're actively cheering him on. So
And then
I
they
mean, I
did
don't-
cheer and wave goodbye to Godzilla at the end of this.
yeah,
movie.
they always they've done that for a
Oh!
while though. Oh.
That's what I wanted to. The fucking song at the end.
Oh my god, the Godzilla March. It's so good. It's so good.
It's they say he's got droopy eyes and.
I
And when
almost
they-
this
Oh.
this might be sacrilege, I don't know, but I almost like the Godzilla March more than the Jet Jaguar theme.
You're right. That is sacrilege.
I think the Godzilla March is just a little catchier than Jet
if
Jaguar.
we were a bigger podcast, I think you would get some heat for that.
Maybe.
But man, it was good. It was a good end theme tune thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I immediately have it stuck in my head now that we're talking about it.
You're welcome. Can you recite it
I
word
cannot.
for word?
No, I mean I could probably do the Jet Jaguar theme, but we're not talking about Godzilla versus Megalon
Someday.
someday.
Coming up. Oh, what else? About Gigan specifically. I know I don't really I mean there's really only a couple different versions of Gigan. I still think this one's the best. I just think he looks so goofy.
It's
He's just
very
a giant he's just
really,
a giant chicken.
He is, and honestly, it's like such good character design. Like I don't know anything
Yeah.
about character design for anything, monsters or like human-sized characters, but like it's such. There's something about it that just everything works so well together. That and
Yeah.
you know there's a reason that Gigan is still to this day one of a big fan favorite monster.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that is because of his design. And for me, I like that buzzsaw. That buzzsaw is pretty fucking cool.
It is pretty cool. I actually here's what I kind of want to talk about a little bit.
Mhm.
So like like the main kind of Gigan designs are this one. I
And
mean,
the
I guess
Final Wars.
the only and the Final Wars one. That's the only two there really are.
Yeah.
Like I know why people like the Final Wars Gigan design, but I don't know. It's just not as charming as
It's
this
not like
one.
I like the Final Wars design. I think it's a really cool design, but it's almost a little over designed, which
Yeah.
it
No, it is over designed. I think I've always liked it, but I always just thought like, it doesn't look. I don't know. It just doesn't look as good.
I mean, I guess
I don't know.
thinking about it now, I guess I can see why, because like you compare the Godzilla in Godzilla Final Wars in Godzilla versus Gigan to something like the design in Godzilla 2000. Like those are equally as drastic changes in look that for
True.
Gigan in this and Gigan in Final Wars. So like I can see it.
Yeah, I guess what I mean, like for Gigan, it's a different story though, because there's really only those two designs.
Yeah, true.
Like that's it. With Godzilla, we have
Many.
a bajillion
Yeah.
different Godzilla designs over the years. But what the thing I wanted to bring up was not so much his actual physical appearance, but I really like the color palette of this Gigan.
Oh, the green
Like
and gold.
the green and gold. Whereas the Final Wars version was really just dark colors.
It
Like
was
black
it was
and
like dark
silver.
purple, and that was about it.
Yeah, and
Um,
while those colors work I think they probably work good for the the movie that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
I think the green and gold in contrast with King Ghidorah's just flat gold. I thought them both on screen, it just looked really nice.
Yeah.
I think the color palette, it just matched and it was good.
Well, there's been a bunch of like, fan recolors of taking that Millennium Gigan and recoloring him to be like the Showa, and it looks really cool because that green and gold is a really great color palette, and it works really well for something like for a giant monster.
Yeah, I really like it when I think something that goes underappreciated with like some of the older designs when they're brought up to like newer movies is sometimes they kind of to make them more modern, they kind of tone down drastic colors.
Mm-hmm.
So like with like I don't really know. Like specifically with golds, like things become less gold.
Yeah.
Like they're like like old Ghidorah was very gold.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
then some of the
compared to,
newer
like,
interpretations
Monster
of
vs.
him,
Ghidorah, not so much.
yeah,
Except in like
the
a
newer
couple
versions of
shots.
him, yeah, he's less gold, and it's like, yeah, sure, it's not that important, but I think when we're talking about like visual media, I do think it's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's what you're looking at. It's part of the design. It's not just about like the actual physical features of the monster. It's about the color palette that you're seeing. So I don't know. I appreciate it. I really really adore this guy again. I can't believe I haven't watched this movie more.
Yeah, it's
Man,
disappointing.
it's so good.
It is so good. Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
there's
it's
a
definitely
reason,
up there with my favorites.
Yeah, I don't know. I struggle to think where I would place it. I don't know if it's in my top 5, but definitely like in my top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's just so good, man. Like I know I keep repeating that, but it's like it just is. It really is.
I think for me, this movie is in the same ballpark as like Ibra, Horror of the Deep,
Okay.
where it's like I know they're both very different movies, but like they kind of each fulfill like this niche for me where it's just like very dumb entertaining.
Mm.
Like it's just like I know the rest of them are too, but like specifically these two, it's just like they trigger something in me. I don't know. I don't understand, but I fucking love it. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention, the scene where Gigan buzzsaws through the building.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's cool.
because you can see them use an actual circular saw.
I know. It's funny.
I guess clever.
I guess how else were they gonna do that effect? But
I know, but here's the thing that I love is that they did not even need to show that. They could have just showed it from the back, like filmed it behind Gigan and just showed the building split or whatever, and they didn't have to do that. But instead, they were just like, yeah, we're going to take a fucking circular shot of this miniature building and we're going to show it in great detail because it's fucking awesome, and the people who work on these movies are dedicated as shit. Yeah,
and it's weird because this movie had a very small budget. Like there's a lot of stock footage used in this. This is one of the movies that like.
So I was gonna actually ask about that
because
when I mentioned to you the last time I watched it before this this latest viewing was during the marathon when we were back in high school, and I distinctly remember either you or someone else saying in regards to this movie that it seems like there's a lot of reused footage from other movies or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they were talking about this movie or Megalon. I don't remember.
Both of them use a lot of stock footage, but it's more so this one. Because they use Ghidorah and they have a lot to work with Ghidorah. I'll read the thing off from the trivia here. Due to the reduced budget for this film, special effects director Teruyushi Nakano used stock footage from previous Godzilla films as well as some other Toho sci-fi films for many of the special effects sequences. Clips from the Godzilla films Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Invasion of Astro Monster, Destroy All Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Hedorah, as well as Rodan and the War of the Gargantuas, can be seen in this film. The film's 89-minute runtime, a little over 7 minutes of it is stock footage, and I think a lot of that is not a lot of it, but it's most evident in there's a scene there's a quick scene in the final battle between all four monsters where it's literally just like Godzilla fighting Ghidorah from Ghidorah three-headed monster, just lifted, like scene for scene. Like it's not even subtle about it. It's just, oh, that's clearly a different Godzilla suit, and this is clearly older footage that's almost 10 years old at this point.
I did notice that one.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, like it's a lot less subtle. Like you don't really know unless you know, then like it's hard to notice that it's different footage.
Yeah, I mean, for like it kind of, I guess, didn't bother me as much because a lot of the movies that those that footage was pulled from, I haven't seen in a little bit, so I kind of forgot. But I have a feeling that if I had watched all of these in quick succession, I would have been like, hey, the fuck?
Yeah, and I mean,
I noticed that.
Yeah, the reason for that is because the rampage scene and then subsequently the battle scene all take place at night, but
yeah,
all those other movies, the destruction stuff takes place during the day. So like it'll cut to a shot of Gigan destroying stuff at night, and then it'll cut to Ghidorah destroying stuff during the day, and it's like, wonder what happened there.
I did see that, and I was gonna like write that down as a note, but then I was like, I'll just mention it when I the reused footage thing.
But I again, other than that, like it's very well integrated, and that's part of Toho's, that's their thing. It's for budgetary reasons, and from most of the time, they utilize it well. I mean, it's just because of this. The film had a smaller budget than the others, so they needed to rely more on it. But I still think they utilized it well and hit it fairly well for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, if if anyone who isn't us watched this, they probably wouldn't have.
They probably wouldn't notice.
It.
No.
They probably were like, well, they probably would have noticed the night to day thing, and then would have been like, well, that's a continuity error or some shit.
Speaking of stock things, because we love to talk about the music in these movies and everything in here, it baffles me that aside from the Godzilla march at the end of the film, there is not a single piece of original music in this score.
I noticed that. I don't know. It didn't really dawn on me until like the end of the movie.
It works so well. Literally every single track used in this are reused from other films, and it's incredible that it works so damn well.
I think it just goes to show how incredible the music is.
Yeah, I mean,
you just put it over anything, and it's
it's a testament to how great a composer Akira Ifukube was. And I mentioned this I posted it on Instagram the other day, a little teaser, a very not so subtle teaser, because it was literally just me listening to the Godzilla vs. Gigan soundtrack on vinyl, and it happened to be playing the track Night Park. I have no idea what that is from. I've never heard it before. I assume it plays during the scene when Gengo first meets Machiko and Shosaku, but the track didn't sound even remotely familiar. So I maybe in that scene it's really quietly mixed that you don't notice it. But I'm sitting there listening to it. I'm like, what the hell is this? I've never heard this in my life. But if it's on the soundtrack, I must have heard it before. But I don't know. It's very weird.
The only thing I could think of is that it was just mixed really, really lightly.
I have to imagine somewhere. Because just judging by the title Night Park, like that's the only scene it could be playing in, right? I have to imagine.
Maybe it was like, I mean, if we're talking park is in like the place where Godzilla Tower is, maybe because they were there at nighttime a lot.
Know. Well, but then the track following is Godzilla Tower at midnight.
Oh,
so I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
It's so confusing. If anybody knows, please please contact us on
Yeah.
Instagram.
I can
and tell
probably
us.
find out what movie it's from if I do a little bit of research real quick. It is from The Big Boss, a movie I've never heard of.
I'll look that up.
1959, directed by Kihachi Okamoto, a name I do not recognize. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not a kaiju film. It's just another of Toho's that Ifukube just happened to do. But
True. There is also a 1971 Hong Kong action drama called The Big Boss,
oh well, that's not
starring Bruce Lee.
Oh well, didn't think we'd be talking about Bruce Lee on the show.
Wow. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Well, I think we thought we solved the mystery, as unfulfilling as that was.
Yeah, it was. It really wasn't that satisfying.
That's why
a
we
discovery.
shouldn't. That's why we shouldn't do our research on doing it live, because it just ruins the
But it's
mystique.
funnier if we do.
It is funnier if we do, but then, like, I don't know, it'd be a mystery.
Yeah, it's funnier. You know?
Fine. I disagree with you.
Okay.
But okay.
Well, we'll agree to disagree. You know,
Alright.
it's not often we really disagree on the podcast to begin with, so.
It's true. We got to get in more fights. We got to make
Yeah.
it interesting.
Well, if once we move on to the next segment, I might have something that we'll disagree on. We'll see though.
Okay.
All
right.
Is there any? I also want to mention, because I noticed this for the first time when I watched the movie. So once they blow up Godzilla Tower, which they do in the most hilarious way, they literally get a bunch of TNT, put it in the elevator, and then put a picture of all of them in front of the TNT. So the Nebulans shoot the TNT thinking it's them, and then the tower blows up. So once the tower blows up, and you know, they don't have any control over Gigan and King Ghidorah anymore. Gigan and Godzilla keep fighting for like a good 5 minutes, and then the camera pans back over to Anguirus and King Ghidorah, who are just kind of sitting there watching. And then it's almost as if they realize, oh wait, things are happening, we should be fighting too, and then they start like getting into it again. But it's like, it's just so funny that they're just like sitting there watching their partners just getting the crap beat out of them while they're just kind of hanging out. It's very funny to me.
Yeah, I was watching that, and the whole time I was just thinking, like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, what?
They're just there. They're just hanging.
They're literally the friends that are watching a fight and filming it with their phones.
You literally probably got some popcorn off to the side.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're the people who would be filming the fight and then uploading it to, like, Reddit.
Yeah.
This is a Reddit kid, confirmed.
I can see Ghidorah. I don't know about Anguirus.
Yeah,
Anguirus is too good a boy.
maybe. I don't know. I do like how, like, Anguirus just seems so fucking confused this whole movie.
He does.
He's just lost. I think he had his. I felt bad. It feels like he, like, really lost his way when the first time where he just got fucking lit up.
Yeah, just the worst, the coldest welcome you could ever have.
He's just like, he lost his spirit after that happened.
I have a question for you, Brian.
Okay.
Hopefully you'll be able to put yourself in this hypothetical scenario. If someone came up to you and shoved a corn cob into your back, would you think it was a gun?
So here's the thing. I've never had a gun barrel up to my back.
That's fair.
That's not safe.
Yeah.
But hypothetically, if you stuck something on my back, told me not to look back, and that it was a gun, I feel like I'd have to believe you.
That's fair. Okay.
Because like I'm not gonna fucking risk my life to
Yeah,
make
you're
sure
not
it's a
gonna
gun.
you're not
To
gonna
make
call
sure
my
it's a
bluff.
gun.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, well it might be a gun, but it might also
it could be
like
some
a piece
corn.
of corn. But I'm not gonna risk my life to find out.
All right. If I ever get mugged, I'm gonna be like, "That's not a gun. That's just corn."
That's corn. Oh my
And then
god.
I get shot and die.
I forgot about corn guy.
Shosaku's the best. He's such a he's so much fun. I love him. And
I related to him the most in the movie.
Yeah, and I love like in that scene where he's like, "Oh, did he really think this was a gun?"
Yeah. You're like, oh, this?
Yeah. And then like when
was so
Gengo wakes up later, he's like, "Oh, but you had a pistol," and he's like, "What are you talking about? Oh, you mean this? It's just corn." And he hands it to him. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, oh."
It just another example of Gengo being a fucking goofball.
Yeah, and you know what bothers me about that scene that has bothered me more and more every time I watch the film. So when he brings out the corn to show him that it was just corn and not a gun, he flips it, hands it to him, and Gengo takes it by the part where Shosaku had been eating.
Yeah.
That's gross. That
It is
bugs me
gross.
so much. And I'm not like a stickler for germs at all. Like I've never really cared that much. And I know that's kind of controversial now that we're living in a fucking pandemic hell world. But
I was
like,
gonna say, hey, you know what? It is pre-COVID.
it is. But like
By
that's just
50 years.
that's just such a weird thing to do. Like I'm not gonna grab something that someone has clearly been eating from right on my bare hands. That's just weird.
Okay, but Gengo's a bit of a dipshit.
He
so.
is, but it just makes me uncomfortable every time I see it. I'm like, why? Why did you grab it like that? Why did you grab it in the first place?
Does it make you uncomfortable where like people like wash their hands and get their sleeves soaking wet?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, wet sleeves aren't fun.
No.
That's why I have my.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why I brought that up.
I don't know why you brought that up.
I had to. I don't know. But yeah, here, let me make it worse. He probably touched a doorknob after touching the corn.
Probably. I mean, we don't ever see him wash his hands, so.
It's true. I mean, we never see him really do anything competently.
No,
so
not really.
I bet if he did wash his hands, he'd probably just run his hands under the water for like a couple seconds and then call it a day.
Doesn't even use soap. Doesn't dry his hands. Just wipes them on his pants.
Oh, that reminds me of the time when I was flying home. This is a side tangent. I just have to talk about it.
Okay.
But there was this guy in the Seattle airport, and he was in the bathroom, and I was washing my hands, and then this dude came out of the stall, not the urinal, stall, and then he went up to the sink, ran his hands under the water for a couple seconds, and then ran his fingers through his hair, and then walked out of the bathroom. Yeah.
I mean, it would have been bad enough if he just ran his hands under the water, but the fact that you put your hands through your hair right after.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had to bring that up.
If you're listening, random dude, you're disgusting.
Great. Yeah, no, that guy is disgusting. If anyone never do that. That's so gross. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Don't like that. Don't like that one bit.
All right, well, back to Godzilla vs. Gigan. I don't know. I think we kind of covered everything we wanted to talk about.
Can we
Anything
talk
else?
about the fact that their plan to free Gengo, Tomoko, and Shima from the tower is literally sending a balloon up to the top floor and then having them zip line down?
Oh, I don't remember that.
That's how that's how because they go to free Shima from the tower and they get captured,
Right.
And then Shosaku and Machiko, to free them, they get a fucking balloon, send it up to the top of the tower to get a zip line going.
Right. I thought you were talking about the time with when Gengo just went up to try and get what's his face out of the
no,
janitor closet. Okay, I got all confused for a second. Yes, I mean, you know what? I think it's pretty genius
I-
because it doesn't make any. It doesn't make any noise.
No, it doesn't. And also,
except for there being a giant balloon.
yes, I also did the balloon pops for seemingly no reason. Like we don't see why it pops. We just see that it does pop.
Maybe like you hit one of Godzilla towers with spikes or some shit.
And then the weirdest thing to me, this has always confused me too. When the Nebulan guards come in and they realize they're escaping, the guy shoots the rope. I feel like there's a better way to do that than just shooting it. Like, why didn't he just like unhook the rope from wherever they had fastened it to? Why did he have to shoot the rope?
Because he wanted to be cool.
But like, I feel like, yeah, he had it up real close, but like,
he also could have just tried aiming at the people.
That also would have worked too.
Because like, you'll probably miss, but at least they know that you're serious.
Yeah, because like even shooting the rope, like Shima was close enough to the ground that he still survived perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Weird,
That didn't. The guards in this
decision.
movie. The guards in this movie did not. They didn't have their heart in it.
They didn't.
No.
Unbelievable.
Also, there was one other thing I wanted to mention: the fact that the fucking guy put tracking devices in each individual cigarette.
I feel like you would have noticed that.
I also like you're burning the cigarette. How is it not damaging the tracker?
That too. I feel like it would have as well. I don't know.
You were literally burning it. Why didn't you put the tracker like on the cartridge or some shit?
Or even in the filter.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have noticed it there.
But it was like the length of the cigarette. It was just inside of it.
I don't know.
Oh my god! And then that led to my favorite scene of the movie, where the main characters get cornered in their like apartment place, and then fucking karate lady comes in and beats the shit out of these, I'm assuming, professional guards.
I mean, she has a black belt. That's they established that earlier.
That's true. It was so fucking cool. I appreciate it. All right. Well, that's what I had to bring up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have anything else to cover for Godzilla versus Gigan.
Other than like just how Godzilla just gets the shit beat out of him.
Godzilla goes through the ringer for sure.
He does go through the ringer. I feel like we actually haven't we've barely mentioned Godzilla
in his own film. Yeah, not so much
in this movie. I don't know. I mean, like he kind of like, it's weird. He acts really tough, and then he shows up, and then he kind of gets the shit beat out of him for most of it.
I mean, he does that happens in a lot of those movies, though.
It's true, but I mean, like he really gets like he gets stabbed and shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we haven't brought up the fact that this is Haruo Nakajima's last film as Godzilla. We haven't talked about
shit, it is.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the fact that you can literally see the suit falling apart in some scenes because this is the fourth film they used that suit on.
I thought that was an effect.
No, that is just because the suit is literally falling apart from overuse.
Wow. Well, I mean, it kind of works.
It works, yeah, but it's just funny.
It kind of works. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't realize that like it was the fourth movie.
Yeah, destroy all monsters attack, Hedorah and Gigan.
Damn. Huh. I don't know. I thought that they always kind of. I thought they switched suits, like, not for every movie, but like more often than that.
I mean, they usually do. This was the only suit that was used so long.
Was it because of budgetary stuff?
I don't know.
I mean, probably if they were having
it's a good
money
chance.
to use this one, yeah.
I don't know.
Huh. I mean, I thought it still turned out just fine.
Yeah.
Except for some parts. I think it kind of worked because Godzilla got the shit beat out of him, and it kind of fit.
So yeah, it fits in with the story, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
All right. Well, I mean, I've talked about everything I wanted to.
I think so. Yeah, I think we've covered everything.
Well, happy 50th belated 50th birthday,
Yeah.
Godzilla vs.
50,
Gigan.
50 years.
For our viewers, if you haven't watched it, what are you doing? If you listen to this podcast
Yeah.
and you haven't
It's
watched
a
Godzilla
fan
vs.
favorite.
Gigan,
How can you be a fan if you haven't seen this fan favorite?
like who are you? What are you doing? Stop. Go watch Godzilla vs. Gigan.
Yeah, and then come back to us.
I'm gonna tell you to go watch Godzilla vs. Gigan after we've just spelled out the entire
Pretty much,
thing
yeah.
going on. I mean, like, we didn't explain the plot because the plot's kind of just like
There's aliens.
Not important.
They wanted to take over the Earth for peace. Godzilla stops them. There's
It's
your
pretty
plot.
par for the course in terms of Godzilla movies from the Showa era. You got aliens and they want to take over Earth, and then they use a monster to do so.
Yeah. Not much,
matters,
not a whole lot to say, but you know.
It works.
It works.
It works.
It's one of the better Showa films. I think. Not that they're all pretty good.
I think they're all pretty good. Yeah.
So,
I mean, it doesn't hold a candle to Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla.
No. It comes close though, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's the second best of the 70s era Godzilla.
I think someday you and I should do like a Godzilla era, like between the eras. We should do like a ranking.
That could be fun. We could absolutely
Could be fun.
That could be an episode.
Yeah. What's the new era?
The Reiwa.
Okay, I knew they gave it a name.
Yeah.
Does that include the MonsterVerse?
I can't remember. They've been kind of weird about it because, like, I know.
I mean, I'm okay either way. I don't care.
Because technically, I mean, if you want to get really technical, the Millennium Era doesn't exist because even though it's still just been the Heisei period of Japan. So the Millennium Era is they just use that to separate it from the 90s era Godzilla because that's all one overarching story. So technically, if you want to get really technical about it, the Millennium films are still the Heisei era of Godzilla. But I want to say
how Millennium sounds.
I know. Well, I know. I don't know. I haven't really heard this in a while, but I used to hear it back in the day. A lot of people call it the Shinsei because it was new. But I haven't heard that term in a long time.
But stuff isn't new forever.
No, exactly. So it's not really new anymore. But I think when did the Reiwa era start? Because I thought
didn't it start with the polygon stuff?
Okay, so the Reiwa period of Japan began on May 1st, 2019. But I think Toho considers Shin Godzilla and the Polygon trilogy to be part of the Reiwa era of Godzilla, even though it came out before the Reiwa era officially started.
I get that. I mean, doesn't it like take them a while to like name the era?
I don't know. I know nothing about Japanese politics. So
I was under the impression that it takes a while.
I don't know. I could not tell you.
Neither could I. I'm just talking out of my ass.
Yeah, we don't even live close to Japan. We couldn't tell you.
I live closer than you do.
You do. That's true, but you still don't live very close at all.
No, it's definitely like a long plane ride that I'm not willing to make.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. But why did we start talking about? Oh, because we were talking about ranking things. That's why.
True.
But
yeah, no, I would love to do a ranking. I think probably the most interesting one would be the Showa era because I feel like a lot of people have different favorites.
Yeah, I agree. So maybe
I think
we'll do that.
It's weird between the I guess 4 eras. I think. Wait, 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 4. Between the 4, I feel like most people are pretty unanimous on most in the 3 others, but with the Showa, it's usually a bit different.
Not so much. I mean, maybe we're just in the minority, but everyone fucking loves the Heisei era.
Well, I meant like in terms of in the era, the movies that they consider the best within each era.
That's what I'm saying, though.
It,
Like, people
oh,
love Godzilla versus Destroyer, and no, I don't really love Godzilla versus Destroyer.
neither do I.
Exactly. So,
But I mean like I think you and I are in that minority. Where I
okay,
feel like
yeah.
most people are pretty unanimous.
Yeah, we're definitely in the minority on that, but yeah.
You and I have a lot of hot takes that
We do.
that we like to ride out for clout.
Yeah. Yeah.
We will make fun of MonsterVerse and Godzilla versus Destroyer all day if it makes us popular.
And Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, because why the hell
yes,
not?
and Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
All right.
Yep.
All right. I think that'll about do it for our Godzilla versus Gigan discussion.
Yeah.
I think
HBD.
What?
HBD.
Oh.
Godzilla versus Gigan.
Yeah. So I think we'll move on to our next segment. So Brian, other than Godzilla versus Gigan, has there been any new cool kaiju thing you've been checking out right now?
Well, I've told you about my new like tradition.
Yeah, you did.
Like
feel
monthly
free
tradition.
to enlighten our listeners with that.
It's not new because this movie is not new.
Yeah, the movie is almost 20 years old.
It's almost 20 years old.
Which
so it's almost as old as I am.
Is fucking wild to think about.
I know. It's almost as old as I am. But for some reason I just have started watching Godzilla Final Wars on a monthly basis while having a glass of Suntory whiskey. And it's just great. I got drunk and I'm watching Godzilla Final Wars, and that's a really good whiskey. And then like just as the movie gets dumber, so do I. So like it's just
it works out very well.
And I've done this I think 3 months in a row.
Nice.
And I haven't even thought about doing it, but I just remember
it just kind of happens.
I was like, oh, this is the third month in a row I've watched Godzilla Final Wars while drinking this whiskey.
Very nice.
And so I brought it up with you. I was like, hey, I started a new tradition, and I feel like it's probably not healthy, but yeah,
it's only once a month.
And then only once a month. But then I said that I want to maybe expand it to different movies. So I said maybe I'll watch like a Heisei movie or something.
I suggested Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
You said Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, but then I said no, we need to do that, as in you and I, because I'm not doing that alone.
And I told you I think I said it on the show last week too. I said I have been wanting to get drunk and watch that movie since we saw it in theaters.
I will need more than one glass.
Of whiskey. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for that.
I will need to buy stuff to make like drinks or something because I'm gonna be just gonna buy some cranberry juice, some seltzer, and some vodka.
There you go.
Some non-Russian vodka.
Yep.
I mean, you can't even get Russian vodka anymore because
Yeah, no.
Because stuff, and I wouldn't buy it anyways. Pricks. All right, we'll get off of that. Okay, that's it.
That's what you've been checking out.
Yeah, probably gonna buy that T-shirt that I mentioned earlier.
All right. Well,
the Otaki Factory one.
Well, I teased it multiple times throughout the episode. Friend of the show, Jared, recently started a slow Showa Toho marathon. And I thought, a lot of the non-Godzilla ones I have not seen, like, ever. So I decided to kind of shamelessly follow along with him in doing that. And I said, I won't go, 1-to-1. I won't watch everything, but I'll watch. I told myself I'll watch the ones that I do not have logged on Letterboxd. So I skipped the first Godzilla because I basically watch that movie once a year at least. Not that I go out of my way to watch it once a year. I just end up watching it at least once a year for one reason or another. So
same here.
I watched Godzilla Raids Again.
Oof.
And this is the first time in a long time, I feel, that I've really sat down and really watched the movie and like I guess appreciated it for what it was. I like it more than I have for the past couple of years. I still don't think it's that great. In fact, I think it's probably the worst of the Showa Toho Godzilla, but it's certainly not as bad as I used to think it was. I think the first whole half of the film, like up through Godzilla and Anguirus' rampage through Osaka, I really like that. I think it's really, really good. But as soon as Anguirus dies, spoiler alert for an almost 70-year-old film, as soon as Anguirus dies, I tend to tune way out because it almost becomes an entirely different movie at that point. And I think the biggest problem the movie has is that the characters just aren't super interesting. Certainly not enough to carry that 20 or so minutes where there's not really a whole lot happening. I mean, the relationship between Tsukioka and Tademi, like it's a fun relationship to watch, but without something like the love triangle between Serizawa, Ogata, and Emiko, I blanked on the name in the first movie, there's not enough there to really keep me engaged with what's going on. And Kobayashi, we have his thing where he's like, oh, he's got some secret love, but we don't even know her name. We just see a picture of her, and then he dies kind of not unceremoniously, but he dies without any satisfying conclusion to that little plot point, and it's just kind of like, you could have done more. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's fine. I like the setup. I like the fact that Japan is kind of scrambling to try and figure out how to deal with a second Godzilla, as well as another monster so soon after the events of the first film. But yeah, it's fine. I appreciate it more than I used to. That's for sure.
I like to think that that's your Letterboxd review. It's fine, not quite as bad as I remember.
Well, I basically brought up my Letterboxd review here to bring up some of those talking points, so you're not wrong.
Okay.
It's a longer review
right.
than that, but I do finish it off with, all in all, Godzilla Raids Again is a fine movie. Not good, not bad, just fine.
All right.
Which actually,
I mean, like
that's a lie. That is not how I wrapped up my review, because I want to bring this up too. And you'll probably know where I'm going for this. A big part of the reason why I always disliked this movie is the time that you and I watched the U.S. cut of the film, Gigantus the Fire Monster. You do know where I'm going with this, I can tell by your laughing. It is not because that version of the film is significantly worse, because it very much is, but it's because you went up to bed and I fell asleep during the film, and I was sleeping downstairs on the couch. So the movie ended and it went back to the DVD menu. So for the next 6 hours or so, however long I slept, I had Masaru Sato's main title theme for the film playing constantly, and I woke up to it still playing. So I think I have this automatic dislike just from the main title being drilled into my head subconsciously for hours on end, to the point where even now I get this like little fight or flight response anytime I hear those opening few notes.
Got PTSD.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was definitely a big part of the reason why I never really jived with this movie. But
I think that might be one of my the funniest memories of us doing anything. Is that
I'm glad you think so, Brian.
I just remember for like months after you're just telling me about that, and it's been so long since you brought that up since, and just hearing about it now. Just, whew. Wow,
uh,
a lot of memories. Oh my god, when was that?
I don't know. It
Oh,
was probably around 2014, 2013, because that was when I started like buying all the Godzilla movies en masse to prepare for Godzilla
yeah.
2014 to come out, and
Uh,
that was the first time I had seen Godzilla Raids Again because I'd never seen it before.
Because I remember that there was a time where we were like blitzing through the Godzilla movies to prepare for something, and I was trying to remember what it was for, and I was thinking, oh, maybe it was Godzilla 2014 or maybe Shin Godzilla, and I didn't remember. But yeah, Godzilla 2014 makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were trying to watch fucking every movie. I don't think we succeeded.
I mean I'm pretty sure I did, but I don't know. It may have been earlier than that. I mean, I know I marathoned them all up to until 2014, but so it may have been a couple years earlier.
Wasn't there a time where we were trying to figure out if we could do a Godzilla like full marathon where we
Yes.
didn't leave the room
Yes,
until
and I haven't checked recently to account for Godzilla versus Kong, but it is over 48 hours.
oh my god.
It is. I think it's last I checked. It was. I'm going to probably pull this out of my ass, but it was like just over 48. It may have been like 49, maybe 52 hours or something.
That's an endurance test.
Yeah, it is an endurance test. And now that there's a whole, anime with Singular Point, you have to include that, I think.
Oh my god.
So it's a little longer now too.
You know what though? That show is pretty brisk.
That's true.
You get through it. I mean, like it's like 20-minute episodes, and
Yeah.
there's like I don't know, like 9 or 10, 13.
Maybe
13
we
of them.
should do that though. Maybe we should take that endurance test and be recording the whole time just to see us, and everyone listening to the podcast can just like listen to us as we slowly lose our minds. That'll be fun.
Let me put it this way: if this podcast becomes like successful, and
Yeah.
we start like actually making money from it,
Uh-huh.
and it's like an actual like business that we can do,
Uh-huh.
I would fucking do it.
You'll do. Okay.
You know what? Lock me up in a room with a bunch of shit, junk food, and energy drinks, and you listen to me slowly lose my mind over the course of 50 hours.
Mhm.
But it's going to be soon because the longer we wait, the longer it will take.
I mean, I now that I think about it, we definitely we tried to do it.
We did.
We did, and we got as far as Ghidorah the three-headed monster before we gave up.
Yep.
Which is not that far.
You know why? Because probably I wanted to go home and play a video game or some shit.
It was still
I don't
pretty
know.
early, like 'cause I'm pretty sure you came over early in the day so that we could like accomplish this feasibly. So it was probably
Right.
around like 4 o'clock
We
maybe.
were probably trying to do it on a weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm sure because we were still in
my-
high school at the
Oh,
time.
you know what? I fucking remember. We started Friday night after school, or no, Sunday morning because this was still when it was under Saturday morning because this was still when it was under 48 hours to do. And we
Yeah.
were just like, oh, well, we'll be right around the end of Sunday, and
Yeah.
then nope. Didn't
No.
happen.
Yeah.
Probably would have been better if we did start on a Friday night.
Probably, yeah. Oh well. But point is, didn't work out. Maybe someday.
Nope.
But again, like you said, the longer we wait, the longer it gets because Godzilla's still churning out content.
Maybe someday if the pandemic gets to new heights.
Yeah, and then we
I will
have no,
risk
we
my
have no
life.
choice to be
I
locked in a
will-
room.
I will risk my life and fly back to Massachusetts and quarantine in your upstairs media room and watch
Sounds
every
good.
single Godzilla from start to finish.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think my dad
I'll
would
just
appreciate
be-
us because that's also now his office, his when he's working from home. So
Oh, those smelly freaks
Yeah.
are up here watching
Watching
every single
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
oh god.
We'll just have to force him to watch them with us while he's working.
His coworkers probably understand.
just slowly losing our fucking minds while your dad is just working in the corner.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah.
All right.
Or you can fly here.
I could. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think my housemate would appreciate
probably
that.
Not. So someone's going to be unappreciative regardless of what happens.
Someone is going to be at least a little bit annoyed.
Yeah. Okay. Let's wrap this up.
All right.
That was the show, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And I have a tiny little announcement. You can follow us at Facebook and Twitter at Talking Toku, but you can also follow us on Instagram at Talking Toku. No longer Talking Toku official. I recovered the at Talking Toku handle now because
You did.
I did. I don't know what I was just curious. I was like, I wonder if the other Talking Toku Instagram profile has posted anything, and I looked up, it didn't exist. So I'm like, oh shit, we can finally recover our handle now.
Wow, they deleted it?
Yeah, it's not there anymore. So now I can proudly say you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Talking Toku.
So one podcast had to die so another one could live.
Yeah, I mean, again, like
live.
when we discovered that other account, like they hadn't posted anything in like over a year, so it was probably a matter of time, anyways.
I'm too cowardly to message them directly, or I was too cowardly to message them directly.
You should have, though. It would have been fun.
Also, because it was an inactive account. No one would have gotten back.
Probably not. No. So
I would have been left on not read.
Yeah. So there can only be one, and that one is us. So get fucked.
Yes, get fucked. Podcast that obviously crashed and burned a long time ago.
They didn't have the balls to keep going. Not like us.
We're in our 23rd episode, motherfuckers.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to double check something real quick. I think. Why am I searching?
We're probably gonna make a con appearance, maybe.
Well, there's that too. But I wanted to see something else. Where is it? Ah, damn. Okay, well, next week, in that case, we should have done it this week, but we had Godzilla versus Gigan. March 17th is the 1-year anniversary of this podcast.
Ooh.
So I think next episode we will do a little retrospective, because I still have the initial pitch for this podcast saved to my Google Drive. So I was gonna my plan was to kind of bring that up and go through it and talk about like the what went into making this podcast a reality. So I think that'll be a fun episode to do.
And maybe our dreams for the future.
Maybe. I mean, there's definitely one of the parts of the pitch I had was like multiple episode ideas that I don't think we've gotten to many of them. We've done a couple already, but not all of them.
Especially because most of our episode ideas kind of just
are thrown together at the last minute. Yeah.
Sure. Not really the last minute. More like
Brian, the video game one was like a day before.
Yeah, that one was a special case. But that one, I think that one came out all right.
I think so too. But yeah, so next week we'll be talking about that, I think.
Next week we'll be talking about Talking Toku.
Yeah, we'll be maybe we'll I think that'll be what the episode's called. It'll be Talking Toku.
Yeah.
There we go.
Maybe we can get a guest on.
Maybe.
I don't know who.
I mean, Jake was on that first episode. We can get Jake.
Yeah, Jake was on the first one. Bring him back.
We could do that. I'll check in with him. I know he just moved, so he might be busy. But
wasn't our first episode like 30-something minutes long?
Let me see.
What a change. We're up to like 2+ hours now. Here's our recording.
Our first episode was 47 minutes.
Jeez.
So this episode already is double that, and we've had longer episodes than this. So
they just kept getting longer and longer.
Yeah.
And I think our longest one is, I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Talk about it
next time.
Yeah.
But Yep, that'll be it for the show this week. Once again, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Talking Toku. I am your host, David Scrivani.
I'm Brian. Also, support Ukraine. Donate, please.
Yeah, what he said. There you go. Got it in at the last second. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.